Yes, boys and girls, you're welcome. Before I introduce you to today's lesson, I want to go through the corrections for the activity 4 that I gave you. Yes, this is Chisembo Abraham in the SST lesson. Our question number 1 was, what is slave trade? We said slave trade is the buying and selling of human beings. Why did it take long to abolish slave trade? Why did it take long to abolish slave trade? We said the kings and chiefs supported slave trade, so it was very difficult to stop slave trade when the kings are supporting slave trade. So it was not easy. Another question was, how did the construction of the Uganda Railway or Kenya-Uganda Railway help in stopping slave trade? We said that trains were used to carry heavy goods instead of human beings. Trains were used to carry heavy goods instead of human beings. So there was no need to get human beings, slaves, to carry goods. Okay? Yeah. Name the group of Asians who constructed the Kenya-Uganda Railway. These were the Indian coolies. The Indian coolies. And our question number 5 was, what form of currency did the Indians introduce? It was the Indian rupees. The Indian rupees. Children, you have to be serious with this work and always do corrections very well. Welcome to our lesson number 5. Our topic still remains foreign influence. And then our subtopic remains European explorers. European explorers. So in this topic, we need to know who is an explorer. Who is an explorer? Previously we looked at the traders, but this time we want to look at the explorers. Who is an explorer? An explorer is a person who moves to a new area to study more about it. Who goes to a new area to learn more about it is called an explorer. When you move from Uganda, you go somewhere in another area, you want to know more about that area, we call you an explorer. So that is the meaning of explorer. Explorers were the first group were the second group of foreigners to come to Uganda. Explorers were the second group of foreigners to come to Uganda. The first group were the Arab traders. The first group were the Arab traders. Examples of European explorers who came to Uganda. Now, I'm going to give you the name and the picture, but don't draw the picture. Just write the name. You go to another name, go to the next name, go to the next name. So among the explorers who came to Uganda, children, do you know them? Yes, I think some of you have researched and have known some of them. One of them is called John Hanning Speke. He was the first European explorer to come to Uganda. His picture is there. Then we also have another one called Richard Burton. He was also an explorer. He came with us, with John Speke at the first journey. Then we also have James Grant. Yes, he was an explorer who came to Uganda. His photo is there. Then we had another one called Sir Samuel Baker. He came with his wife called Jane Baker. His photo is there. Then we had another man called Joseph Thompson. This man was sent to Uganda, was sent to East Africa to look for a short route from the coast to the interior, from Mombasa direct to Uganda. Remember, most explorers used Tanzania to enter Uganda. Yet Tanzania's route was the longest. So they wanted a short route. So this man had to discover the short route. He was able to pass by the Maasai land successfully without being killed. So he came to look for the short route. Then we have another man called Henry Morton Stanley. Henry Morton Stanley. Be careful, mindful of the spellings. Some of you write wrong spelling of Stanley. This one, we looked at him when we looked at Mount Rwenzori, discovered Mount Rwenzori. Those are the explorers I want you to write down. So we shall talk about them. Then, these explorers who came to Uganda were sponsored by the Royal Geographical Society. Which body sponsored explorers to Uganda? It's called the Royal Geographical Society. It's the body that paid To sponsor is to pay for you everything that you need. Like some of us have sponsors, they pay for us fees. So the body that sponsored the journeys of explorers to Uganda was called Royal Geographical Society. In short is RGS, Royal Geographical Society. Reasons for the coming of the explorers. Number one, to discover the source of river Nile. And we are saying that was the main reason for the coming of explorers, to discover the source of river Nile. Main reason. They wanted to find out this longest river in the world. Where does it start from? It means they knew where it ended, but they didn't know where it started, where it starts from. So a group of people were sent to find the source of river Nile. And these people, we are calling them the explorers. Main reason, to find the source of river Nile. Other reasons, to discover some features in Uganda. Then to find ways of acquiring colonies. What I mean is to find ways of ruling Uganda. How can we rule Uganda? Is it possible to rule Ugandans? Go and find out. So they sent explorers to find out. To open way for Christian missionaries, to prepare way for Christian missionaries. Okay? To pave way, to clear way for the coming of Christian missionaries. Because after the explorers, the next group that came were the missionaries. Okay? So to find ways to clear way for the Christian missionaries. Then to find trade opportunities, to find trade opportunities. Is it easy to carry out trade in Uganda? And which type of trade is existing in Uganda? Go and find out. So they sent the explorers. You have a map of Uganda. You will write the heading, Map of Uganda showing exploration routes. But you will skip some 15 lines. You will skip 15 lines. You will not draw that map. But I want to use it to explain the journeys of the explorers. The first explorer to come to Uganda was John SPEKE. This is how he entered Uganda. He entered Uganda through Tanzania. He moved like that, went up to Uganda, went up to the source of the Nile, and he became the first European explorer to find the source of the Nile. While he was there, he also looked at that big lake. He named it in his first journey when he came. He named it Lake Victoria. Its local name is called Lake Narubale. Who gave it the new name of Lake Victoria? John SPEKE. Why did he name it Lake Victoria? In remembrance of Queen Victoria. Then he had to move, follow that direction, and went back. While he was going back, he met another explorer who was also looking for the source of the Nile from its mouth. The one who looked for the source of the Nile from its mouth is called Sir Samuel Baker. So Sir Samuel Baker was coming from up, and they met, and this John SPEKE told him, I have already found the source. So he said, now there is no need to go there. So what he did, he had to move down. He reached Lake Albert. After checking on Lake Albert, he went back, went to Makshon Falls, named it Makshon Falls, and then went back. The local name for Lake Albert is Lake Mwitanzige. Lake Mwitanzige. He also gave it a new name, Albert, in remembrance of the husband of Queen Victoria. Then another man was sent, and that man was called Henry Morton Stanley. Why was he sent? To prove if Lake Victoria was the source of River Nile. How did he prove? He had to move around. He had to sail around. He had to circumnavigate. To circumnavigate is to move around the lake. So he had to circumnavigate to prove if Lake Victoria was the true source of River Nile. Because John SPEKE had gone back and told his bosses, Lake Victoria is the source of River Nile. So another man was sent, and that was Henry Morton Stanley. That was his journey. After proving that Lake Victoria was the source of River Nile, what did he do? He went to Western Uganda, saw the most beautiful mountain in Uganda, the biggest mountain in Uganda, Mount Rwenzori, with a glittering peak, with snow on top. Well organized, said this mountain is called the Mountains of the Moon. Mountains of the Moon. mountains of the moon. Why? The peak of Mount Renzori, which is called Margarita, the peak looked like a new rising moon, was shining like a new rising moon. So he went there and discovered Mount Renzori. He went to discover Edward and George. Then he went back. Those were the journeys of the explorers in Uganda. After skipping the 15 lines where you will draw the map later, when you come back to school, we shall let us look at John Hanning Speke. John Hanning Speke was the first European explorer to come to Uganda. He was the first to come to Uganda. He came in which years? They are there shown. 1856 to 1858. What did he come to do? He came to discover the source of River Nile. He came to discover the source of River Nile. So he was the first European explorer to come to Uganda. He was sponsored by the Royal Geographical Society. He came to look for the source of River Nile. He came to look for the source of River Nile. He came to Uganda twice. The first journey, he came with Richard Burton. Then his second journey, he came with James Grant. Okay, as we end the lesson, we need to know more about John Hanning Speke. What do we know about him? I said he was the first European explorer to come to Uganda. What else do you know about him? He renamed Lake Victoria. And another thing we know about him, he discovered the source of River Nile. So that was who? John Hanning Speke. Yes, I have an activity for you children. And the activity is got from what I've just taught. Who is an explorer? Which physical feature attracted most explorers to Uganda? What is that thing that made explorers to come to Uganda? Which physical feature were they looking for? Those explorers. They were looking for, Another question. Name the body that sponsored most explorers' journeys. The body that sponsored the explorers' journey? You know it. Name the first European explorer to come to Uganda. And then, why was John Hanning Speke interested in River Nile? What was he looking for from River Nile? Then, why was Lake Victoria named so? Thank you for listening. This marks the end of our lesson. See you another day. Lesson 6. We still look at the explorers. Be good, children. I love you. I miss you so much. And may the Almighty God bless you abundantly.